If you've been carrying that quiet thought, I should be further than I am right now, today is your day to release that. Today is the day to let go of all the shoulda, woulda, couldas. Today is for you because you're not behind. You are right on time. And we're here today to help you. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books and counting. I've had the amazingly wonderful privilege to be in marketing for nearly 40 years now. February will be our 40-year anniversary. It's hard to think of all that. Over the course of those years, I've had the wonderful privilege of working with brand new startup companies, multimillionaires and multi-billionaires, doctors, lawyers, nurses, stay-at-home moms, people who they were in Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies, and people who, they were glad if their company made $50 or $100 for the month, and everywhere in between. I've always been here and want to continue to be here for you, to help you be able to do the things in this world that only you can do, because you are so powerful. You're so important, and the world so needs you. I want you to know that. I want you to feel it deeply. And then I want you to embrace the whole concept of exactly why you're here today, and let yourself really live in the place of, I got this. I can do it. I'm not late. I'm right where I should be. And now is my time. Raise your right hand real quick and just say that. Say, now is my time. Perfect. I love it. All right, let's jump into it. I really, really wish. I thought about rearranging my entire office / bedroom. They're kind of both together because the other room, I've got two rooms here, but the other room is so cold. I mean, this room is cold. That room is like a refrigerator. Like, seriously, you could keep raw meat in there and it would not spoil at all. Okay. I'm talking like more like freezer levels. Okay. Yeah, just trust me on that. Okay. But right now the wind is blowing and the snow is snowing sideways. And it's a good day to be inside. It's actually one of those days where what you really want to do is you want to be deeply, madly, passionately in love with somebody and spend the entire day cuddled up next to a raging fire, just holding one another on a couch. And for those of us who are single, that's a great wish, want, hope, dream, and something that we are also telling ourselves. We're not behind. We're right on time. And now is the time. Hi, G. How you doing? So, let's jump into this. Let's talk about it. Because a lot of us, myself included, okay, so don't feel in any way judged by this because I'm right here with you. It's so easy to be in that place where you really just feel. And I don't know how else to say it other than just you really just feel. And you're like judging yourself all the time because you're like, oh my gosh, gee, I'm so glad that you're doing good. Um, you know, it's so easy to look at our own expectations, or worse yet, judge ourselves by other people. We see somebody, and let's use somebody huge. Let's use a Tony Robbins, an Oprah, those kind of people that have had massive impact. Okay. And they've traveled around the world and they've done all kinds of things. I could even use my good buddy Willie J, who was on with us on Christmas Day. We got early reports in. We weren't expecting to see or hear anything about the song for probably 5 to 10 days, more like 8 to 10 days, minimum before we would hear anything. The song's already topping the charts. It's already number one on hot new releases, number one in movers and shakers in Amazon, in the Amazon music singles section. If you haven't gotten Without You, you really should get it. It's a great song. And it'd be really easy, because I started out my life as a musician. I mean, that's what I was the lead singer in a Christian rock band in the 80s, when being the lead singer of a rock band was, pretty what everybody wanted to do. We all wanted to be jukebox heroes, right? I mean, it'd be really easy to judge my music career against Willie's, um, and eliminate everything else that's happened, all the good that's been done in my life, all of the intro that I did. And I talked about the doctors and the lawyers and the nurses and the stay at home moms and the startup companies and all that, and all the people that I've helped. It's so easy to let some imagination we created in our own mind or our external view of somebody else's life, whether we know them really well and we know, their struggles and victories, or we don't know them at all. They're a celebrity on television and we don't really understand their secret struggles. We end up idolizing somebody, like, say, for example, Robin Williams, an amazingly hilarious person. And yet, I mean, in the end, he died of suicide, felt all alone and completely unloved. And there's so many of us that, loved literally everything he ever did. I mean, there's maybe one or two movies that he did that weren't just massively roll on the floor hits. And even those did pretty well. And yet, he didn't feel it. And we judge ourselves. So if you're a comedian, and you could, insert any other comedians. If you're a comedian and you use that person and you judge yourself as less than because of that person, your perception really of that person's success, we end up in a place where we never make it. We never succeed because we're never going to be them. Here's the thing. And back right after the Oprah show ended, okay? I still hear it every once in a while, not as much anymore. But right after it ended, there was a whole bunch of my authors that, if you ask them what their goal was, they wanted to be the next Oprah. And without fail, without a doubt, every single time, because this is totally the core and soul of who I am, I would say to them, well, I appreciate what you mean with that goal, but I'd like to help you begin, even before we start writing your book, begin to start re-looking at that and restating that, because the world's already had an Oprah. Oprah did Oprah really, really well. Whether you like her or hate her, doesn't really matter. She nailed being Oprah. She was the absolute doctorate level, did the thing, succeeded at it, Oprah. Okay? And the truth of the matter is, when it comes to the race of your life, you are going to be victorious. You absolutely will be the winner of the race of your life. You'll break the tape. You will be the victor of your life. It is. It's not a maybe, not a, the horse from the other race can come in and win. Somebody can, do an impression of you that's better than you. I remember back, oh gosh, this was probably 10 years ago. There was a person who had a fake Christopher Walken Instagram account. I think it was Instagram. Might have been TikTok, one of the two. And it definitely wasn't TikTok. Might have been Twitter. But anyway, nailed it. I mean, just totally, like, I would have thought, really honestly, that it was totally Christopher Walken. I mean, they had his voice, his tone, his mannerisms, all of that down. But at the end of the day, that person, as great as they are at copying him, and I've seen some comedians and others that, do really, really great impersonations. No matter how great the person's impersonation is, they won't win the race of that person's life. You will be the victor of your life, and you get to decide what it is. And the thing about it is what I want you to see today, and what I want you to release, is all of those critiques, all those judgments, and any of the shame that comes around with it. Okay, let's not wait until the ball drops on, at midnight on January 1st, and we herald in 2026. Let's not wait to then to begin to start fresh. Let's Let's put the line in the sand, put the tent in the ground. There's a word and I can't think what it is. Let's really stake in the ground. There you go. Thank you. Some days my brain just really doesn't. Let's put that stake in the ground and let's start right now. Start fresh. Yesterday, 5 seconds ago, in fact, it's over. It's gone. The times that my nose has been itching me, I mean, it still itches, but the times that I've rubbed my nose, the time that I drank a drink of water, the faux pas that I've done this far into this live, those are already in the past. Every single thing that you have done, will do, and are doing in the world, every single moment, a second, by the time you say now is no longer now, it was then. See what I'm saying? So if there's mistakes you've made, if there's forgiveness that you need to do, ask for the forgiveness. Sometimes the people aren't in your life anymore. And you can just send out the please forgive me out to the people, and maybe even people who have written you off. And that's okay too. And then really, and this is the hard part of it, you got to forgive yourself. You got to release yourself from the chains. You see, here's the thing about forgiveness. It's not about justifying the evil crap that some people have done in your life. And believe me, I get it. I see it. I understand. I'm not saying what they did was okay, but I'm saying that you want to forgive and release it because forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is you reaching down to the chain that binds you to that person, to that situation, to that past, and allows you to be free of it. They can take their chains. If you've ever seen, we just came through Christmas. If you've ever seen any of the versions of A Christmas Carol, one of the things, at the very beginning, oh gosh, I can't think what the guy's name is. That comes, the first ghost, his old business partner, comes to visit Scrooge. Marley, yeah, comes to visit Scrooge, and he's bound down and weighed down by these chains. And he says, "These are the chains that I forged in life. And I've seen yours, and they're far greater than anything I ever created." But you see, here's the great news. You can release all those chains. You can let them go. They can stay connected to the evil bastards that did shit to you. That's right, I said it. That's the way it needed to be said. And you can be free. And you can release the shame and the guilt and the worry and the hurt and all of those things. You can also, though, release all that pressure you've been putting on yourself and just respond. Just take a step. Visibility does not come from pressure. You can feel shame, feel blame, press hard, do the things. You can go live and just be like, every day, every single day. And that doesn't create visibility. Visibility comes from, that's right, you're going to hear me say it, the 3 C's: clarity, consistency, and connection. For those of you that this is new for you, let me just give you a refresher. The 3 C's. I'm going to start with connection, because connection is your heart. Connection is that feeling deep down inside of you that I know you have that says, I want to make a difference in this world. I want to impact their lives. And, now there's a ditch on the other side of the road for connection, because a lot of times we fall into that trap of wanting to help everybody. When you try to help everybody, you end up helping no one. Focus that down. Connection. And it leads perfectly into clarity. See, we want to connect. Okay, our heart is to connect to everyone. But then clarity steps in and says, okay, but let's narrow it down. Let's create a mirror, a target, a bullseye of an exact, specific, and I'm going to recommend to you one person. because you can talk very specifically to one person. But you have to start talking in generalities when you start talking to a group. And don't get me wrong, I love talking. I love doing these lives. And I know that there's multiple different people. And I love addressing, like when G came on and said hi. And I love those kind of things. But specifically when you talk specifically to a person, it resonates. You can have a conversation and you and another person, and when you're conversing and you're going back and forth, that's a great conversation. But if you're trying to keep up with this conversation with this person here and this one over here, this one over, okay? And what ends up happening when you clarify that well is that you begin to actually reach way more people because the clarity of the messaging comes through. You need to be clear who you are, who you're meant to serve, and what they need, and how you, being fully 100% you, can connect to them. You see how it comes back around? See, they're not 1, 2, 3 steps. They're, combined together to make a fist, to make that impact, that connection, that intertwining of hands, that electric spark when two people really truly come together. That's what I want for you. And then what's the third C? Well, the third C is consistency. You have that desire to connect. You have that clarity of who you're talking to and what you're saying. And then you need to do it consistently. And you got to consistently do it in the place where the people are. You know who your person is. You know what they want. You know where they're going to show up. And then you show up for them. Jaden, glad to have you here with us. Thanks for joining. That is how you create consistency, is you go to where they are. I mean, if they are, say, for example, if they are members of eWomen Network, I love eWomen Network. I'm still technically a member. My membership is in on hold status because there is literally no chapters of eWomen anywhere in the whole state of Kansas. And Sandra Yancey, if you happen to get wind of this, we need to do something about that. And I'm not the one to be able to do it because I live in a town of 400. But anyway, it really does need to happen though. Okay. Great organization, great place to go and network and do those kind of things. And whether you're at a local chapter in Portland, Oregon, or in Seattle, shout out to the chapters that I've been to so many times, or you're at the international convention down in Dallas. That networking, and it might be for you, it might be Toastmasters, it might be BNI, and the list goes on of all the networking groups. And those are great. And if that's where your person is, then that's where you need to be. And you need to be visible. You need to not be the mouse in the corner. You need to sit at the table and share openly and honestly who you are, and share the thing and be the thing and do the stuff that only you can do. Participate. I love eWomen because it gives you the opportunity every single month to come in, sit at a table, and I recommend to you, sit at a table of people you've never met. And if you come with somebody, if you have like a spouse or a best friend or whatever, don't sit at the table with them. Sit someplace completely without, preferably in a group that you've never been in, and then participate. Donate something that goes into the raffle. Because you're going to get to come up and you're going to get to talk for a second, and do those kind of things, do all of the kind of things so you can be visible and valuable to the people. Not with the shame, not with the blame. Now, my sweet spot, as we all know, is books, right? Visibility of books. Anybody could write a book. I mean, yeah, there are even some pretty cool AIs that I've seen that if you know who you are, you've got that clarity piece, which is what all the programs are missing. You're going to have to bring it to the table because none of them have programmed that in yet. And don't let ChatGPT come in and tell you who you are. It can help you refine who you are, but you need to push back on them and go, no, that's not me. Okay. And over time, it learns those things that you corrected on, but it's still never going to be, you still are going to always have to have that 20% of human. But once you have the book, it's got to be visible. And even though I always quote to you over 95% of all books sold are sold off of Amazon, and that's where you need to be visible, and absolutely you do, you need to be number one in the genres and the categories with the keywords that your people are going to be using to search for. That's first and foremost. And then secondarily, you need to be where your people are, saying the things that your people want to hear. That's on you. That's where that clarity comes from. That's how it comes in. And that then allows you to connect when you do it consistently. Now, some of you are saying, well, this all sounds wonderful, but I think it's already too late. I put out my book and it hasn't done anything. I have this message and I don't know how to put it in a book. Any of those kind of things. Wherever you are in the process, I want to help you out. And I want to do it for free, okay? Not some kind of sales pitch, not some kind of hype or anything like that, but just simply a free review. Just DM or comment the word review, okay? Just that simple. Drop the word review in the comments or in a direct message to me, and let's set up a time. I'm going to go through where you are, how it's working, and what you can do. If there are some things that we can do that can help you bring in that visibility, I would be delighted to do that. And if there will be some free tips that I'm going to give you. And if that's where you are at that point, that's fine too. But today is the day. Today is the day. Because nothing powerful begins with shame. Everything powerful begins with permission. And right here, right now, today, I give you permission to let everything else in the past go and to take that step. Do it today. I'm so proud of you for doing it. I hope you are happy, safe, warm, and loved. Then until we're together again next time, which is tomorrow, Monday, December the 29th, if you can believe it, we're going to talk about, our theme is letting go of the old year, and we're going to talk about not carrying this past year into next year with us. And I look forward to having you here with me till we're together again then. I hope you have a great week.